Do right. Do your best. Treat others as you want to be treated. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. I never learn anything talking. I only learn things when I ask questions. Ability is what you're capable of doing. Motivation determines what you do. Attitude determines how well you do it. Winners embrace hard work. They love the discipline of it, the trade-off they're making to win. Losers, on the other hand, see it as punishment. And that's the difference. At home I have a copy of the April 21, 1986, issue of Sports Illustrated. I'm on the cover with the blurb, "Can Lou do it?" I just arrived at Notre Dame, and with spring football underway, I was the focal point of that week's coverage. A lifetime contract for a coach means if you're ahead in the third quarter and moving the ball, they can't fire you. I think that we have opportunities all around us, sometimes we just don't recognize them. If you try to fight the course, it will beat you. Virtually nothing is impossible in this world if you just put your mind to it and maintain a positive attitude. I follow 3 rules: do the right thing, do the best you can, and always show people you care. The key to winning is choosing to do God's will and loving others with all you've got. Don't tell your problems to people, 80% don't care, and the other 20% are glad you have them. If what you did yesterday seems big, you haven't done anything today. If you look at the history of Notre Dame, if you hire a coach who's been successful at another college program, they're going to be ultra successful at Notre Dame because the talent will always be there. I was born January 6, 1937, 8 years after Wall Street crashed and 2 years before John Steinbeck published The Grapes of Wrath, his Pulitzer Prize-winning novel about the plight of a family during the Great Depression. Show me someone who has done something worthwhile, and I'll show you someone who has overcome adversity. For victory in life, we've got to keep focused on the goal, and the goal is heaven. How you respond to the challenge in the second half will determine what you become after the game, whether you are a winner or a loser. If you're bored with life, you don't get up every morning with a burning desire to do things, you don't have enough goals. Sacrifice, discipline, and prayer are essential. We gain strength through God's Word. We receive grace from the sacrament. And when we fumble due to sin, and it's gonna happen, confession puts us back on the field. It's not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you carry it. I can't believe that God put us on this earth to be ordinary. God answers prayers, but He doesn't always answer it your way. The University of Notre Dame does not redshirt, and I endorse that policy completely. I am very much in favor of redshirting, but not at Notre Dame. But there's no doubt about it. It puts us at a huge disadvantage. In golf, the player, coach and official are rolled into one, and they overlap completely. Golf really is the best microcosm of life, or at least the way life should be. In football, it's the job of the player to play, the coach to coach, the official to officiate. Each guy is charged with upholding his end, nothing more. In golf, the player, coach and official are rolled into one, and they overlap completely. Golf really is the best microcosm of life, or at least the way life should be. In the 90s, everybody wants to talk about their rights and privileges. 25 years ago, people talked about their obligations and responsibilities. You're never as good as everyone tells you when you win, and you're never as bad as they say when you lose. We can all be successful and make money, but when we die, that ends. But when you are significant is when you help other people be successful. That lasts many a lifetime. If you burn your neighbor's house down, it doesn't make your house look any better. Successful people will always tell you you can do something. It's the people who have never accomplished anything who will always discourage you from trying to achieve excellent things. Everyone goes through adversity in life, but what matters is how you learn from it. The problem with having a sense of humor is often that people you use it on aren't in a very good mood. Motivation is simple. You eliminate those who are not motivated. The man who complains about the way the ball bounces is likely the one who dropped it. Had I been a great athlete, I'm not sure I would have even gone into coaching. I may have turned out feeling that my life ended and my athletic career ended, as happens so many times with various athletes. Notre Dame is the one school that has a national recruiting base, from Florida to Texas to California. As a coach, one thing that used to frustrate me was one player would make a bad decision, and that's all you would read about in the papers all over the country. We have so many athletes do so many wonderful things for other people, and you never read about it. At age 9, I got a paper route. 66 papers had to be delivered to 66 families every day. I also had to collect 30 cents a week from each customer. I owed the paper 20 cents per customer per week, and got to keep the rest. When I didn't collect, the balance came out of my profit. My average income was $6 a week. When people need love and understanding and support the most is when they deserve it the least. I have to admit, I sometimes wonder how much more successful I would have been as a coach had it not been for my spending summers on the golf course. I could have watched more film, that's for sure. One advantage Joe Paterno had over me was that he didn't play golf. I do know this, God does answer your prayers, but it's not always in the way you expect. God knows what's best for us, though, so there's no need to worry when things don't go how we originally wanted them to go. Don't be a spectator, don't let life pass you by. If Tiger Woods had played football, he would have been a quarterback. My philosophy in life is, decide what you want to do. You have to have something to hope for. I was raised in a religious environment, and my wife is one of the more religious people that I have ever known. When I left the University of Notre Dame, I honestly felt I would never coach again. You'll never get ahead of anyone as long as you try to get even with him. In the successful organization, no detail is too small to escape close attention. I'm an old man, and all my life I've said that Notre Dame should remain independent because it's a national school. On this team, we're all united in a common goal, to keep my job. You don't go to Notre Dame to learn something, you go to Notre Dame to be somebody. When all is said and done, more is said than done. Coaching is nothing more than eliminating mistakes before you get fired. I won't accept anything less than the best a player's capable of doing, and he has the right to expect the best that I can do for him and the team. If he's got golf clubs in his truck or a camper in his driveway, I don't hire him. You aren't going to find anybody that's going to be successful without making a sacrifice and without perseverance. I think that everybody needs 4 things in life. Everybody needs something to do regardless of age. Everybody needs someone to love. Everybody needs something to hope for, and, of course, everybody needs someone to believe in. If you made me the National Commissioner of Football, I'd tell you one thing that I would mandate. The second Saturday in September, we're going to have Conference Day. Everybody from the SEC plays a Big 12 team. Everybody from the Big 10 is going to play the ACC. Everybody from the Big East is going to play the Pac-10. Nothing on this earth is standing still. It's either growing or it's dying. No matter if it's a tree or a human being. I do think coaches need to get away from the game more, though. It's good for them. Don't run if you can walk. Don't walk if you can stand. Don't stand if you can sit. Don't sit if you can lie down. I'm proud to be part of the Dr. Pepper Scholarship giveaway. It's a great program that gives me the chance to brighten the day for some lucky college students with free tuition. No matter what happens on the field, getting an education makes you a winner. We were at a beach one summer, and I had a bathing suit on. My wife looked at me and said, "Boy, you are skinny, aren't you?" I said, "Honey, I'd like to remind you that it was minor defects like this that kept me from getting a better wife. I look like I have beriberi and scurvy. I look at athletes in all sports and try to picture what kind of football player they'd be, what position they'd play, and so on. When the bank asks me about my assets, I include my friendship with Regis Philbin. I believe that having a spiritual life is so important in everybody's life. I'm so old, I don't buy green bananas anymore. How do you know what it's like to be stupid if you've never been smart? I think life is a matter of choices, and that wherever we are, good or bad, is because of choices we make. We have an obligation to help people that cannot help themselves. The mentally retarded, the physically retarded, etc. I believe we all pay taxes. I'm happy to pay it, but I hate to have it abused, money wasted, no accountability. That's going to bother you. I truly believe the things Notre Dame stands for. I used to pray that God would make me a great athlete, and He never did. To win a national championship, you've got to be a little lucky. One thing about me is I try to be honest. I don't think there's been anything in the game of football in my lifetime that has changed college football more than redshirting. All an agent is going to do is buy things for a player, damage his eligibility, and make the player dependent on them. An agent won't help you get drafted higher, won't make you win more games, and won't make you faster or stronger. When I die, and people realize that I will not be resurrected in 3 days, they will forget me. That is the way it should be. Whenever you give up something, you must replace it with something. Our cellar home had a kitchen and a combination bedroom and half bath, which meant we had a sink next to the bed. We had no refrigerator, no shower or tub, and no privacy. My parents shared the bedroom with my sister and me. I was raised a Catholic on both sides of the family. I went to a Catholic grade school and thought everybody in the country was Catholic, because that's all I ever was associated with. I think everyone should experience defeat at least once during their career. You learn a lot from it. I don't drink water, haven't drank water in 40 years. I'll assure you this, I will have nothing to do with politics. My wife doesn't even want to spend 2 hours with me. I believe in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. When I work a game as an analyst, all I do is look at the game like a coach. The Sisters of Notre Dame at St. Aloysius Grade School influenced my life tremendously. This was due to the fact that they encouraged you always to make sure that God is the focus of your life, and they didn't allow you to do anything except to the very best of your ability. After winning, most teams become individuals. Most teams become complacent. I feel that God wants me to coach, otherwise, He wouldn't have put the desire in me. I have no desire at all to become the winningest coach at Notre Dame. The record belongs to Newt Rockne or some other coach in the future. My wife told me if there is any rumors about me, it better be about politics and not about my social life. All my life, I've been trying to make a hole-in-one. The closest I've come is a bogey. ESPN is a great organization to work for. I've followed Notre Dame football since 1946, when I listened on the radio and Johnny Lujack tackled Doc Blanchard in the open field to preserve a 0-0 tie. We decided we couldn't cover punts with 2 sprinters. So we said, let's get 7 sprinters going off the line so we can cover them. My first assistant coaching job in football was at William Mary in 1961. The pay wasn't much, so to get $300 more per year, I agreed to coach the golf team. I didn't even know how to keep score, and really, my main job was not to wreck the van on the way to tournaments. My first assistant coaching job in football was at William Mary in 1961. I was impressed with the facilities, the stadium. I am sorry that any rules were violated and I apologize for any embarrassment in my 6 years at USC. We tried to operate not only according to the letter of the law but the spirit of the law as well. Give credit to Wofford on that. We didn't run it until several years after, Wofford. Knowing Bill Snyder and the disciplinarian he is and the approach he has, yeah, I think he will bounce back. And he doesn't have to be real good to be pretty good in that North. I think that Wynn really turned our program around. I said they were capable of it. I didn't say they were going to do it. The alumni buried me every week. The plots have a view of the dome. It's a better view if you're standing up than if you're laying down. The ability of a defense to dominate and stop the run forces you into a one-dimensional game. You come out wanting to play ball control, field position, but by the second quarter, you're down by 17 and you're forced to throw. We had a lot of people call us. And a lot of people we played, they were all of a sudden using it the next year. We only had one more meal. I thought I was safe. With his optimism and with the new enthusiasm that a new coach always brings, I think he can take it to the championship level, and I will be surprised if he doesn't win the championship. Not that it will be easy, but he's a very talented individual. You get in that traditional punt formation and you spend hours trying to pick this up and that up. We didn't spend 1/15 that time in our spread punt formation. This Southern Cal team is capable of it, too. But I don't think they will. I just think Notre Dame really has a good shot at them. This Southern Cal team is capable of it, too. But I don't think they will. I just think Notre Dame really has a good shot at them. I should have put them on a bus. They got home in 4 hours, rather than 4 days. I've said this all along, I don't know how good we can be because I haven't played anybody on our schedule. But at the same time, I look at it and say, we don't have anybody on our schedule that we've beaten that last 3 years. So, I don't know how we compare to everybody, but I think with the way this team is working, they have chance, at least, to be competitive. Our defense is playing very well. They haven't given up the big play. This is not about Lou Holtz. This is about South Carolina. A lot of people didn't even know we were being investigated. When the news broke last week, our freshmen were like, we were under investigation. No one ever told us. It's not like I bothered to tell them. The requests that you have are unbelievable. That's what Notre Dame is all about. The requests that you have are unbelievable. That's what Notre Dame is all about. This is the type of game you live for. Ask people over the last 20 years who has won the most Commander-in-Chief's trophies. Tradition always is under construction. People don't look at what happened in the 1940s. They look at what's happening today. It's sound. Nobody ever blocked us because of a scheme. They might have blocked us because we didn't block somebody. They better expand that stadium to 175,000 by Saturday if they're going to get everyone in there that thinks they're going to get in. They've got it over the hump. They've got it established. As long as they've got great senior leadership, it will continue to happen. I haven't seen anything that would compare to the anxiety of the game. Look at this. USC was number 1 preseason, Texas was number 2, and it never changed the entire year. Everyone said these would be the 2 best teams in the entire country, and they were. How often does that happen? I think NC State is on the threshold of being an outstanding program. The only problem is the ACC. It's such a great conference now. One reason I won't compromise is because I believe honesty helps you win over the long haul. You can win a game tomorrow and lose a team. You can lose a game tomorrow and win a football team. If you continually ask yourself, what's important now. You won't waste time on the trivial. It was a great game if you don't care who won. I cared. We will use some kind of option and we will throw the football. I hope it will be at our people. First we become the best, then we'll become first. First and foremost, I am a teacher, I care. Caring is helping the players to develop. Coaching is about helping young people have a chance to succeed. There is no more awesome responsibility than that. One of the greatest honors a person can have is being called coach. The team that's on defense first, in overtime, has the advantage because they know whether they need a touchdown, a field goal, or just a score. What you are capable of achieving is determined by your talent and ability. What you attempt to do is determined by your motivation. How well you do something is determined by your attitude. Football coaches don't have real problems. God looks after children, animals, and idiots. Everybody needs 4 things in life: something to do, someone to love, someone to believe in, and something to hope for. It's good to be successful, but it's great to be significant. No, but you can see it from here. I just have an enthusiasm for life. They say a tie is like kissing your sister. I guess that is better than kissing your brother. If you are killing time, it's not murder. It's suicide. I don't think we can win every game. Just the next one. Underconfidence breeds underachievement. Momentum is whatever your attitude determines it to be. Behind every successful person stands a very successful mother-in-law. You can pay people to perform, but you can't pay people to excel. I can't explain why a bride buys her wedding dress, whereas a groom rents his tux. We are not going to win because you have a new head coach, any more than you are going to fix a flat tire by changing the driver. We will win the minute all of us get rid of excuses as to why we can't win and stop wallowing in self-pity. I'm not a disciplinarian. I simply enforce other people's decisions. The best way to save face is not to use the lower half. I give opinions, not advice. If you make a fist and hold it for 2 hours, you won't be able to pick up a glass because you'll be so weak. Let's stay loose. Let's have fun. Remember this. Bear Bryant retired at age 69, and he died 28 days after he stopped coaching. If you don't have something, and a purpose in your life, you're gonna die. Don't let failure get you down. Babe Ruth struck out over 1,300 times. Absolutely. There are 1,000 better coaches in the cities, but I'm the best in the country. There are certain things in this world we all have in common, such as time. Everybody has 60 seconds to a minute, 60 minutes to an hour, 24 hours to a day. The difference is what we do with that time and how we use it. A team wins with the elimination of mistakes and with people who want to win and can't stand losing. Broadcasting is easy, you just talk until you think of something to say. It's not my job to motivate players. They bring extraordinary motivation to our program. It's my job not to demotivate them. I'd say handling people is the most important thing you can do as a coach. I've found every time I've gotten into trouble with a player, it's because I wasn't talking to him enough. Attitude determines how well you do it. I've never seen the yellow light, the yellow line be wrong. It's a better view if you're standing up than if you're laying down. Give your players something they can physically do, don't ask them to do something they can't do. Everything ends badly, otherwise it would not end. I bet you went on one date and wanted to get married. In adversity, there is opportunity. Show me someone who has done something worthwhile, and I'll show you someone who has overcome adversity. I've never known anybody to achieve anything without overcoming adversity. Adversity is another way to measure the greatness of individuals. I never had a crisis that didn't make me stronger. Actually, all I ever wanted to be was the best in my field. The freedom to do your own thing ends when you have obligations and responsibilities. If you want to fail yourself, you can, but you cannot do your own thing if you have responsibilities to team members. If you don't demand that your people maintain high performances to remain on your team, why should they be proud of the association? The way you motivate a football team is to eliminate the unmotivated ones. The answer is surprisingly simple. Just do right. Live an honorable life. After landing his invasion forces on the shores of some country, the 16th-century Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés would immediately burn his own boats. He was sending his army a message: we can't turn back. Either we succeed here or we die here. Excuses were not an option. We are always faced with different challenges, and circumstances necessitate bringing out the greatness God puts in all of us. No matter how bad someone has it, there are others who have it worse. Remembering that makes life a lot easier and allows you to take pleasure in the blessings you have been given. I don't play well enough to be allowed to throw my clubs. You might not be able to outthink, outmarket or outspend your competition, but you can outwork them. Everybody is looking for instant success, but it doesn't work that way. You build a successful life one day at a time. C. Winners embrace hard work. Don't tell me how rocky the sea is, just bring the ship in. You will never be indecisive if you know your purpose. You've got to have great athletes to win, I don't care who the coach is. You can't win without good athletes, but you can lose with them. This is where coaching makes the difference. So many times people are afraid of competition, when it should bring out the best in us. We all have talents and abilities, so why be intimidated by other people's skills? It always amazes me that spectators want to coach, coaches want to officiate, and officials just want to watch the game. If you've been there, no explanation is necessary. If you haven't, none is adequate. You build a successful life a day at a time. No one has ever drowned in sweat. Winners and losers aren't born, they are the products of how they think. Without self-discipline, success is impossible, period. Build your empire on the firm foundation of the fundamentals. In this world you're either growing or you're dying, so get in motion and grow. Only the unprepared are overcome by pressure. My first assistant coaching job in football was at William Mary in 1961. The pay wasn't much, so to get $300 more per year, I agreed to coach the golf team. I didn't even know how to keep score, and really, my main job was not to wreck the van on the way to tournaments. The greatest power God gave us is the power to choose. We have the opportunity to choose whether we're going to act or procrastinate, believe or doubt, pray or curse, help or heal. We also choose whether we're going to be happy or whether we're going to be sad. You know, Hitler was a great leader, too. You live up, or down, to your expectations. Adversity is another way to measure the greatness of individuals. I never had a crisis that didn't make me stronger. In life, be a participant, not a spectator. I've never known anybody to achieve anything without overcoming adversity. The only people who aren't going to be criticized are those who do absolutely nothing. You must have dreams and goals if you are ever going to achieve anything in this world. So what if someone wrote your obituary? That doesn't mean you are obligated to die. To my wife I told you I was sick. Do what's right. Be on time, be polite, and be honest. Remain free from drugs. And if you have any questions, get out your Bible. 2. Do your best. Mediocrity is unacceptable when you are capable of doing better. 3. Treat others as you want to be treated. Practice love and understanding. Those who know Notre Dame, no explanations necessary. Those who don't, no explanation will suffice. I asked you to pack your headgear and shoulder pads, but more importantly your defense and your kicking game, because that's what wins game like this. People eyeing you as a potential leader tend to ask 3 questions. Are you committed? Do you care about me? Can I trust you? The standards you establish for others must reflect the standards you set for yourself. No one will follow a hypocrite. You were not born a winner, and you were not born a loser. You are what you make yourself be. It's always better to face the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, than to continue coddling a lie. We aren't where we want to be, we aren't where we ought to be, but thank goodness we aren't where we used to be. Remember, every day, some ordinary person does something extraordinary. Today, it's your turn. It's the extra effort after you have done your best that creates victory. Everyone wants to win on Saturday afternoon when the game is played. It's what you do the other 6 days that decides the outcome. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. Never settle for second when first is available. Nothing is as good as it seems and nothing is as bad, but somewhere between reality falls. The answers to these questions will determine your success or failure. 1. Can people trust me to do what's right? 2. Am I committed to doing my best? 3. Do I care about other people and show it? If the answers to these questions are yes, there is no way you can fail. Don't ever promise more than you can deliver, but always deliver more than you promise. Teamwork is the foundation of success. The 3 universal questions that an individual asks of his coach, player, employee, employer are, can I trust you? Are you committed to excellence? And, do you care about me? I believe your attitude is the most important choice you can make. Do what's right. Do the best you can and treat others the way you want to be treated because they will ask 3 questions. 1. Can I trust you? 2. Are you committed? 3. Do you care about me as a person? Remember that adversity presents us with numerous possibilities for success, if we are just willing to see them. Your neighbors will make judgments about you based on how your lawn and house look, and people who see you passing will judge you based on how clean you keep your car. It's not always fair, but it has always been true. Appearances matter, so make yours a good one. If you don't make a total commitment to whatever you are doing, then you start looking to bail out the first time the boat starts leaking. All you need is something to say, and a burning desire to say it. It doesn't matter where your hands are. All winning teams are goal-oriented. Teams like these win consistently because everyone connected with them concentrates on specific objectives. They go about their business with blinders on. Nothing will distract them from achieving their aims. My first assistant coaching job in football was at William Mary in 1961. You always have to prepare for the obstacles that are going to come. Consequently, when they do come, it doesn't affect you mentally near as much as when you're unprepared for them. What's important now? To evaluate the past, focus on the future, and tell you what you have to do in the present. Give me a blackboard. I can stop anything on a blackboard. You can't motivate a group of people or a team. You have to motivate people individually, and that motivation has to be in an environment in which that person has a goal, something they want to accomplish in their lives. Don't ever ask a player to do something he doesn't have the ability to do. He'll just question your ability as a coach, not his as an athlete. My athletes always follow my advice, unless it conflicts with what that they want to do. The price of leadership is responsibility, and part of that responsibility is to stay positive whether you feel like it or not. One day you are drinking the wine, and the next day you are picking the grapes.